so that we can have it recorded. So this is the warm-up for the 5th quiz or CBA. We're going to graph and solve quadratics. I'm hoping that most of the elements of this first question we get with no problem. Maybe we struggled a little bit with number 7, but I'm hoping that everything else we should have solid. What is the vertex? The vertex, how do we name this point? 1, 4. Next, the y-intercept. How do we name this point? 0, 3. The domain, what's the domain of all the quadratics we deal with? All real numbers. Please use the symbol. Range, so this one is facing down. So when you have a graph and it's facing down, it's going to take the form of y is less than or equal to k. And while I got my green pen, axis of symmetry is x is equal to h. So the range goes with k, and axis of symmetry always goes with h. Hold on, where did my blue pen go? I lost it. This is gonna really bother me because now all the blues are not gonna match. Okay. So for this one, the range, y is less than or equal to k. What's the k value? 4. Let me go ahead and write that on there, that the vertex is hk. So then my axis of symmetry, what is the axis of symmetry? X is equal to what? Okay, axis of symmetry. I didn't ask you to draw it on there, but the axis of symmetry is actually this invisible line. We'll pretend like I made a nice line. X is equal to 1. It's the line that cuts your graph in half, and you have symmetry on both sides. That's why it's called the axis of symmetry. The solutions. Solutions are the x-intercepts, and so I can make a solution set. It's the places where you cross the x-axis. I cross twice. Where do I cross? -1 and 3. -1 and 3. What is the equation? So the equation is always going to take the form of or f of x is equal to ax minus h squared plus k. And keep in mind, this will be a multiple choice question. We need to know what a equals, and we need to know what the vertex is. Well, we already know what the vertex is. The vertex is 1, 4. A, to figure out A, you start at your vertex. You go over 1. So do I go up or down to get to my first point? So it's going to be negative. How far down? So my A is -1. So I just fill in the blanks. Y is equal to -1 x, and it's opposite h because the formula is negative. So -1 or -1 squared plus 4. Do I have to put the 1 right here? No, I do have to put a negative, but I don't have to put a 1. So that's my equation. You have all of these types of questions on your quiz. So I hope everybody gets all of them right. The next question, convert the following from standard form to vertex form. And so we're going to do this by completing the square. And so to complete the square, my first step is to always set it equal to 0 and to move the constant to the other side. So that is always my first step. Set it equal to 0 and move the constant. Next, I'm going to rewrite the equation and I'm going to rewrite 2 lines and leave myself blanks to complete the square. So I get x squared minus 2x plus blank equals 3 plus blank. And then my next line has the squared part, or sorry, I've got the parentheses. How do I know what sign goes in parentheses? It's always going to come from the B. So should this be plus or minus? Minus. So this is going to be a minus, and it's because of that negative right there. When I complete the square, so off to the side, I'm going to complete the square. And so when I do that, it's always going to use the formula b divided by 2 squared. I have a, b, and c. My b is -2. I already took care of the negative right here, so I'm not going to use the negative part. So I have 2 divided by 2 squared. What's in parentheses stays in parentheses. What is 2 divided by 2? That goes in parentheses. And I'm going to work myself up and around. And so what is 1 squared? 1. And anything you add to one side, you add to the other. What is 3 plus 1? 4. All right, I completed the square. Now I just need to write it in vertex form, which is the form that I wrote my equation for question number 7. And so I have to move the constant back. So remember, my first step was to change f of x to 0 and to move the constant. My last step is to undo those things. So I need to move the constant back and I need to set it equal to f of x again because I undid that. So I'm going to rewrite it as f of x, or y equals is fine too. X minus 1 squared. I'm moving over the 4. I forgot to write this down. So I'm subtracting 4 to the other side. Minus 4. The last 2 questions should be a piece of cake. There's no math involved. So half of this, there's no math. Like this is like the first question we really had to do any kind of math. The first 7 questions, we're just looking at the graph. And identifying A and the vertex to write your equation. And the last 2 questions, you're not doing any math, you're just looking at the graphs. So there's really only one question that you have to do some math. So let's go into this quiz with a positive mindset. You can do this. The next question, solving the system. The solution to a system is the points of intersection. And so for this particular graph, I see that my graph intersects 2 times, there and there. That's where my 2 graphs intersect. So my solution are naming both of those points. So what's the name of this point? -1, 0. And then I have one more point. What's the name of my second point? 2, 3. So you have to name the points where they intersect. That's it. The next question says, in 7 seconds, about how high is the graph? Okay, well, we're going to go over 7 seconds, and then I'm going to track it all the way up to see how high it is and kind of put a little point there. So do you agree that it's about right there? Okay, I'm going to track that over to the y-axis. Would you say that it's about right there? Okay. So let's look at the scale. It goes from 80 to 100. So right in the middle is going to be how much? 90. So right in the middle is 90. So, I mean, what do you think? What do you think? It's definitely a value that's bigger than 95. Sorry, bigger than 90, but less than 100. Like, we can all agree on that. It's a number bigger than 90, less than 100. I mean, I would say anything 95, 96, 97. The question on your quiz, it's not going to be like I give you all three of those values. It would be like I give you one of those values and then I give you 101 and I give you 82. Like it's not going to be the others. So I'm not going to like split hairs to find the answer. So if you put something that was between 90 and 100, I'm going to be okay with that. Something close to 95, 96. So let's say about 96 meters. Again, if you put 98, leave it. 98, I'm fine with 98. So it's got to be a value between, to me, it kind of looks like halfway between 90 and 100. But it might be a little bit more than that. So that is it. That is it.